There you get a look at the Trojans of Maroa Forsyth back in the state championship game for the second year in a row, taking on Sterling Newman. The Comets of Central Catholic 13-0, #1 in the state all year long, taking on Maroa Forsyth. Hello, I'm Lee Hall, and welcome to Memorial Stadium. I'm with my partner, Jack McInerney. It's a Black Friday when it comes to the shoppers, but it's sunny and beautiful here in Champaign, and we're looking forward to this 2A state championship game, Jack.
Perfect weather for high school football, no doubt about it. And two outstanding football teams. Again, contrasts of formations, how they want to play the game of football. One spread wide open, another one more conservative, tight run game. Another game that should be one of those situations where one is wide open, one is deep, keep it to the vest, but I think a very good football game.
All right, it's Maroa Forsyth. We've seen them here several times. This is their third trip to the state championship game in the last 5 years, coached by Josh Jostas, taking on veteran coach Mike Paposi and Sterling Newman. We're back with the kickoff after this IHSA TV broadcast brought to you by Country Financial. Back at Memorial Stadium, Lee Hall, Jack McInerney upstairs. Downstairs, we go to Aaron Bennett.
Guys, thanks. I just got done talking with Maroa Forsyth head coach Josh Jostas, and you might not be surprised. He says their best offense will probably be their defense today. He says they've got to keep Sterling Newman off the field. Their offense, their rushing attack, they've got to contain that run game and get their own offense back on the field. That will be key for the Trojans. For more on Sterling Newman, here's Sophia.
Guys, catching up with head coach Mike Paposi before the game, he said defensively the goals were going to be to cause some turnovers and also limit the big plays by Maroa Forsyth. Offensively, he said we want to sustain long drives, we want to avoid any turnovers on our end, and he also said, you know, with the contrasting styles, he kind of likes their advantage. He said we run the ball for days like today where it's blustery winds and it's chilly. He says that he thinks they will come out on top because of that advantage, saying we run the ball for days like this. Also thought special teams would be a critical part of this game. Guys, back up to you.
All right, Sophia, thank you very much. The 2A championship coming up next, the 2010 IHSA Football Championships, brought to you by Country Financial. And welcome back. Both teams taking the field here on a sunny, beautiful, little bit chilly day here. It's, you know, December's not far away, Coach.
But it is football weather.
It is football weather. I'm ready, man. I'm here.
Central Illinois, Champaign, Illinois, state championships. Got to be a little chilly.
Absolutely. Maroa will kick it away. Dylan Patch will kick it away, and back to receive for Newman, Zach Gassman, and Shaquille Campbell. There's a look at the Newman sideline. State champions in 2004. They've been through this not that long ago. Most of the coaches have. That one falls at the 20 and is picked up there by Campbell and brought across the 20. A short run there, and Sterling Newman will take over from their own 22-yard line. 13-0, Sterling Newman. They call themselves the Blue Machine. You remember, I know you're young enough to remember the big red machine of the Cincinnati Reds in baseball back in the 70s. This is the big Blue Machine.
I certainly do.
Jack Hanlon is their quarterback. There you see that full house backfield.
Again, getting the jitters out, just going right up the gut.
Peel them all off, and that was Wilson with the ball carry that time. Tim Wilson, 6'4" junior, number 41. Over 1,200 yards rushing this year. And if you saw our 1A game, this is the same offense basically as Lena Winslow. That's Blessman with the run up the gut. Check that, Joe Blessman. They've got a Blessman, a Gassman, and a Shipman for Newman.
I don't envy your job.
It's a team of men.
Well, they certainly are a three-headed horse here because they have backs that can all rack up the yardage if given the opportunity, and they have a lot of versatility in that backfield.
Hanlon to give to Wilson, not much room there.
Got a good mark though. Right at the first down. Real close. Oh, the little dispute early as far as where the mark should be. Forward progress will give them the first down. The defensive coaches never want forward progress.
There's a lot of negotiating going on for both teams on there.
And if you're a line coach, you're going to say there's an awful lot of people standing up in the trenches. Everybody is too high. Both the offense and defensive line are way too high. Got to come off the ball low on Padlock. They didn't give it to him.
Measure. Go ahead and measure. It's marked at the 32. Boy, it's real close. That's about where the marker is.
Good sign of a good crew. When in doubt in a game like this, measure it. Got a lot of things at stake here.
Josh Jostis in his 11th year, 86-39 at Maroa Forsyth. His defense awaits the decision, and it's first down, Newman Comets. Our officials today, Kevin Rowland, Robert Schiffbauer, Mark Cunningham, James Knopf, and Scott Gary. There's a look at Mike Paposi, the veteran coach, 31st year as head coach at Sterling Newman. 1st and 10 for his squad. Give to the up man is Blessman. He's out to about the 35-yard line. And Coach Paposi says our philosophy is not much finesse, 3 to 5 yards of play and wear teams down. That's our philosophy, and it's worked well for him.
And it certainly has, and it is thus far, because that was a 4-yard gain on first down, and first down is so crucial with an offense like this. You have to get 3 to 4 yards in that first down.
Here's the give to Wilson around left end. Little room, but not much. Zach Murphy, number 12, with the pursuit for Maroa Forsyth.
Big, tall, lanky defensive end Zach Murphy, 6'5", 210-pound junior, did a nice job of stringing that out. We'll take a look at it. You can see the flow right here. Everybody's getting outside. Right there, nice job of stringing it out till he gets help coming from the inside. Well done, well coached.
Third down. Hanlon keeps it himself, and he's out near midfield. And first down yardage, Jack Hanlon with the run.
Broke it up a little bit by going to the spread. And coach has said he does that occasionally, and that certainly kind of spread out the linebackers, which opened up that seam up the middle for the quarterback.
He averages 5.2 yards per rush. He hasn't rushed for a lot of yards, but when he does, it's for good yardage for Sterling Newman. 1st and 10 near midfield.
Second back.
Wilson down inside the 45-yard line. Tim Wilson, a 6'4", 195-pound junior. Over 1,200 yards this season for Sterling Newman.
Interesting play. What they do is they fake to the fullback right up the gut to squeeze those inside linebackers down into him, and then they give to the second back who goes off tackle. And the whole idea is just to get a mismatch of personnel.
Wilson again around the left side, wrapped up there. Ball comes out as he's going down. Maroa has it. It is Forsyth's ball. Maroa Forsyth, the fumble by Wilson. He was in the process of being tackled and lost the ball, and a break early for Maroa Forsyth.
Well, they stood him up early. If you'll watch this, he stood up by the first tackler, and then everybody else after that comes in to rip the ball away. That's how it's coached. If you're the first guy there, make sure you make the tackle. Everybody after that starts stripping the football. Right there, they've got him down. Now come the strippers. And the ball's on the ground.
1st and 10 for Maroa Forsyth. I don't know the man next to me. Stelzeriti, the quarterback. He looks to the right side and has a man. That's Luke. Check that. Joe Hockaday. That didn't take me long to do that. Luke was his brother, a quarterback here, led them to the state title game. That's Joe Hockaday, his younger brother, with the catch. Gain of 6.
Nice job of the ball fake right there, and then goes out with the quick pass to the split end on a man coverage out there. They don't give you much chance to rest here.
No huddle. Maroa, 3 receivers left. Logan Selzeriti, the quarterback, hands it to his running back, Scott. He's down inside the 40-yard line. And Gary Scott has a first down. Gary Scott is a 5'9", 190-pound senior transfer from Decatur Eisenhower. Here's a look at Stelzeriti's numbers for the year, over 2,400 yards passing. Maroa looking to take advantage of the turnover.
27 touchdown passes.
Scott again has a lane down inside the 35-yard line, down about the 33, 34-yard line, right in between.
In those very first 2 touches, I can see how quick he is at the point of attack right there. Now you can see why he has over 1,900 yards rushing and 21 touchdowns. Real good quick feet, and of course on turf like this, there's not a problem with footing.
Good lanes opened up by the line. Man in motion for Stelzeriti, gives it to Scott, who's hammered in the backfield. Tackled there by Carlos Salazar, 5'8" senior there for the stop.
And he is also their leading tackler. He's the nose man right on the center, and he can choose either gap to go to the left side of the center or the right side. Oftentimes what you do is, again, in the spread formation, you want to put somebody on the nose of the center, because then it's easier to get past him, because when he snaps up with his right hand, you swim over his right shoulder and he can't get back to block you. Just a technique that you teach kids that are playing against a spread formation, and they have a man right on them right now.
3rd and 7. Stelzeriti looking open deep for Hockaday. Did he stay in bounds and score?
I think he did. I
Touchdown!
think he did, yes.
36 yards, Stelzeriti to Joe Hockaday. The junior quarterback to the senior receiver. We have a flag.
That was a great throw, and the flag is back where you don't want it.
Illegal shift.
That was an excellent throw.
Forsyth will cost him a touchdown.
And that was a great throw and a better route to get open.
Oh, penalties. Man, oh man, it's like walks in baseball.
Well, the other part of that is there's a difference between a penalty and a 2 or 3 yard gain as compared to bringing back 6 points.
On the offense, we're going to replay the down.
Yeah, that turns out to be a 40-yard 6-point penalty.
Yep.
So it'll bring up 3rd and 12 for Maroa Forsyth. They got a break with the fumble, and now a penalty cost them dearly. 3rd and 12, 6:44 to go here, first quarter.
Now everybody shifts down. You'll see the slide, the secondary slides over. He's got him open again.
It was open again, but Hockaday couldn't get there. Just overthrew him a bit, and that'll bring up 4th down.
That's just a little wheel route. The inside guy goes inside, slants in towards the safety, and the outside man wheels up the sideline, and that route was open again. You'll see he looks away to look the safety off and comes back right up the sideline, and again, he's got his man beat by 3 or 4 yards. He just overthrows him.
A beautifully thrown ball, just a little deep. The one before that was even better. My goodness.
This kind of gives you a little taste of what we've got in store for us here.
4th and 12, wind at their back. They're going to go for it.
Option.
Stelzeriti, a little shovel pass there, and it's props met at the line of scrimmage, and it will be Newman ball.
That's just good scouting reports right there. The man comes in motion. He gives you the look of the option going in one direction, and then just shuffle passes underneath of the back coming underneath. Well-designed play, but a better job of defense.
6:32 to go here in the first. We are scoreless in our 2A state championship game, the 2010 IHSA football championships, brought to you by Country Financial. Lee Hall, Jack McInerney back at Memorial Stadium on the campus of the University of Illinois. No score. A little bit of action here in the early going. A fumble.
There was
penalty.
A score, but brought back.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Yeah.
But not on the scoreboard.
Right, okay.
You know me with semantics.
Did you go to school with him?
Graduated with him.
All right. And it's a quarterback keeper and not a lot of room there. Hanlon met at the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1.
They're going after the football. There's no doubt about that. Watch, there's the first guy, and now they start stripping again. And very close, but he was down after. Fumbled after he was down. But that shows you the aggressiveness of that defense.
They have to hang on to the pumpkin today. Forsyth got it on a takeaway earlier. Here's the give to Blessman. He's brought down. Nice open field tackle there.
24, George Blessman, the ball carrier.
Looked like Zach Murphy again.
It was Zach Murphy, 6'5" junior.
Looks kind of lanky. He's 210 pounds, but at 6'5", that makes him look lanky.
Lankier.
Lankiest right now at 6'5".
3rd and 2.
No.
Wilson. I think he's going to be a little short.
41, Jim Wilson on the carry.
The Maroa Forsyth defensive line up to the challenge so far. Justin Harrelson, Aaron Ford, Wesley Beach, Zach Murphy all up front for the Trojans. They come into this game 11-2, ranked 8th in the final 2A AP poll. Sterling Newman, #1 all season long. 4th and 1. Newman to punt. Joe Blessman punts it into that wind, end over end, and it gets caught up in the wind and bounces Maroa's way, and it'll be down at the 35-yard line. Punt of just 17. We've seen that unless you really hit a line drive, that wind is going to catch it, Jack.
Well, it really has been a difficult day for the punters. There's no doubt about it. In the first game, we didn't see anything that even resembled a punt. And same in this game. It's a combination of the wind and I guess the temperature. Never have been a punter. I wouldn't know how it feels to contact that football on the foot.
There's a look at Maroa's road to Champaign. Those last 2 weekends, pretty tight ball games against Williamsville and then KZ Westfield. And a couple of yards on the carry that time. Stelzariti keeps it.
Tackled by 52, Carlos Salazar.
In looking through those 4 playoff games that Maroa's played, they averaged 27 points a game in their 4 playoff games and only gave up 10 in those 4.
Now the defense obviously won it for them there against Williamsville, 13-6, and then 20-12 in the semifinal. Stelzariti deep, and had a man. It's Hockaday again. Boy, if those two can get that worked out, Stelzariti's got a great arm.
He has a great arm, and it's kind of interesting how well he's throwing the ball as compared to the game before with another outstanding quarterback, Judd Winkie, who didn't seem to be able to throw the ball in this win, but he's just rifling the ball. And he's really a step away from those completions for big plays. And when they're that close, though, that's the wind. It's not so much inaccuracy as it is the wind when you're within a step of hitting those plays.
Twin receivers right and left for Maroa Forsyth on 3rd down. The give is to the man in motion, Dustin Hoffman. And a flag on the play. He has 1st down yardage. Will await the flag.
Tackled by 42, John Flag.
And it's holding against the Trojans, so that'll come back. Boy, penalties are really hitting them hard early.
They sure are. And that's a good play out of that formation. We'll get the call here.
So far, it's cost them a touchdown and a 1st down.
On the offense. We're going to play 3rd down.
See right here, it's just the speed right out on the outside, but it's just a good job. Right here, you can see how he fights off the outside shoulder to force him back inside to his help. And it's more the turf there that tripped him up than anything else.
Like maybe Wesley Beach on the hold. They're 3rd and 10 now from the 35-yard line. Stelzariti fakes the handoff. He's got some pressure.
Screen.
Has a man, Scott, and he's met and brought down for a loss. Juan Gonzalez in there on the tackle.
Good job of sniffing that screen out. Whenever a quarterback drops that fast with no pressure, you teach the defensive lineman to play draw. If he's not being forced out and he just keeps on dropping, if he goes away, you go away. Get back to the line of scrimmage and look for that draw. Oh, bad snap over the top.
Bad snap over Hockaday's head. He tries to kick it. And looks like it's recovered by Newman on the 2-yard line.
Wow, wow.
It was Shipman on the last tackle, by the way. Loss of 31, and it's been a game of breaks and penalties so far, Jack. And this big break for Newman on the bad snap as it went over Luke Hockaday's head.
And you can see right here, rather than dive on, he tries to kick it in and misses it. And he's looking for a safety, which would be been a smart play, but he was too far away to do that. And wow, that was a tough play.
First and goal for the Comets. It's Wilson, and it's a touchdown. Tim Wilson with the touchdown run for Newman. That's his 21st touchdown of the year.
Well, we know what he was trying to do on that bad snap. He was trying to kick it into the end zone so he'd only give up 2 points. But when you're that far away, you talk about hand-eye coordination, the state championship game for a high school player. He'd been much better off, hindsight, falling out and then punting out and giving the ball at midfield. Well, you know, it's like anything. You're trying to be an athlete and thinking the best thing to do. Very interesting play, though. Haven't seen that in many years.
Newman will go for 2 here. They go for 2 all the time. And they won't get it this time. The give was to Gavin Jensen. Mike Paposi goes for 2 all the time. He says, I'm the only one that believes 100% in that. That bad snap leading to a touchdown for Newman. 2010 IHSA Football Championships brought to you by Country Financial. 6-0. Sterling Newman with the lead over Maroa Forsyth. Special teams can so often play a factor. Of course they do. Kind of overlook them sometimes. We talk offense, defense, but that was pretty short drive after the bad snap going over the head of the punter.
And again, the center was snapping that ball with the wind, so it carried on him. And then it's just a one-play drive. Boy, that's a coach's dream.
Yeah.
A coach's fantasy. One-play drive.
You ever get one like that?
No. But thanks for asking.
Okay. Maroa with the return. Out to about the 35-yard line where Maroa Forsyth will take over. We've seen them get into the end zone and have it called back. We've seen them move the ball and come very close on scoring plays, but so far nothing to show for it.
No, but their timing is good. It's been more of a weather factor as far as the wind. I've been impressed with the quarterback's arm. I've been impressed with their routes. And just making an assumption here, they're going to get right back in it.
Reedy back to throw. Just off the hands of Hockaday again.
Good throw. He's got a cannon for an arm.
That's about the 3rd or 4th attempt he's made for Hockaday, and they just haven't been able to hook up quite yet.
He's only a junior, 6'1", 165 pounds, but I'm very impressed with his arm.
Well, I mentioned Luke Hockaday. This is Joe Hockaday. Joe was actually the 2nd-string quarterback last year. He got hurt after the 1st-string quarterback got hurt, and Stelzreedy came on, and he has been at quarterback ever since. And Hockaday moved to wide receiver. Here's Scott with the run up the middle on 2nd down. Be about 3rd down and 5 for the Trojans.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him come back with that same pass because his corners are playing soft. Once they come off the ball, they're backpedaling, bailing out real quickly. And right now they got a trips to the top and a single coverage down here, but they're going too deep, so it's kind of interesting the different looks they're giving them. They're going to give them the draw, and there it is.
3rd and 5, met right at the line of scrimmage, in on the tackle. Joe Blessman, number 24. So Maroa will have to punt on 4th down with the wind at their back. And Newman with the 6-0 lead, and they'll get the ball back.
Joe Blessman, a two-way player, fullback and middle linebacker, and he's a key, 6 foot, 200-pound senior. See how this snap is. Good one. And one of the better kicks we've seen.
Fielded at the 26-yard line for Newman. Dustin Hoffman gets it outside.
That's a 15-yard gain after he should have been tackled, after he caught the ball. He had him pinned in. He just made a move. And that'll make a coach toss and turn when you give up gains after that. Let's take a look now psychologically for their center. He had a bad snap the last time. Let's see how he compensates. Good snap, right on the eyes. And a relatively good punt. Now watch the breakdown right here. Does a nice job right there. Comes under control, but he lets him get inside him. Turns out to be 15 yards beyond that.
It's actually Zach Gassman on the return. And the carry that time is by Blessman. He's over 1,400 yards, 18 touchdowns this season. Well, tape on that right thigh, Coach.
Well, the thing that I like about that is, aside from his stats, I like his average, 9.2 yards per carry. That's very impressive.
2nd and 4 for the undefeated Comets.
Second man through.
Wilson gets it out to the hash mark and across the 50 for a 1st down.
He's got some speed. It's tough for those cornerbacks to be on an island out there and have to come up and make that big tackle. But so far they've done it. But it's impressive how they're just pounding away at him, going inside and then going right outside right after it. They're keeping you off balance with the play selection.
Under a minute to go now, 2nd quarter. They give. There's the Profiter. He's still on his feet inside the 35, down to about the 32. And a flag. A flag back at about the 45-yard line of Newman. And that will go against the Comets, so a penalty will cost them a 1st down.
That's a big penalty there, too. That was a good long run for a big 1st down. Almost got him into the red zone. That hurt. See right here, he does a nice job, and then he bounces right back, right here, spins off. They're going for the ball too much now and not securing the tackle.
Replay 1st down.
Starting to get a little greedy going for the football instead of making sure they have the runner.
First things first, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're coachable. You're coachable. First things first.
Thank you.
I'd send you in first, and then I'd go stripping for the football. Because the first guy in is the one taking the hit. Good cutback. Kept his feet. He's got a long gainer.
Brian Barr is off the bench for Newman.
What's happening now is the defense is really flying to the ball to the first fake, and he's bounced back against the grain, and had he not tripped up, he would have had a nice gainer.
Does Mike Poposi look like a football coach or what, with a stocking cap? I mean, he looks like he could play. There he is.
I got to think that he was a lineman. It's just a guess. Just a guess.
And a heck of a coach at that, too.
Yes.
6-0 after 1 quarter. The IHSA Football Championships brought to you by Country Financial. And warming up a little there on the sideline. 6-0. Sterling Newman with the lead, and they get the ball here at midfield. And bright, shiny day here in Champaign. .32 degrees now, and warmed up a little bit down there. Feels like 22. Wind's pretty significant. As you look at the field, it's blowing from our right to left. So Newman has the wind at their back for the 2nd quarter.
And it's not in one dead direction, so it's kind of swirling, and that has a lot to do with the accuracy of their pass.
Take a look at the 1st quarter stats. as Blessman gets the carry. Pick up of about 5. And there's another look. Maroa with -6. They get the yards taken away for the bad snap on the punt. Does that count?
If I was a statistician, I would say so.
Yeah, so that hurt them. And of course, they had that touchdown called back due to penalty. So that doesn't show up there. But otherwise, this would be maybe a Maroa lead. A little bit different look this time for Newman. Hanlon keeps it. He's down near the first down marker. And they'll mark him at the 40-yard line. Yeah, about a yard short. We've seen that a couple of times now from Hanlon.
Well, he does break. He breaks up the offense just to throw the defense off, and that's one of the. He did that on the other long yardage play. Goes into the spread, and naturally, what happens is the linebackers and secondary loosen up, anticipating a pass. But he keeps his mentality of his philosophy of running the football on. All he does is run the quarterback out of the spread formation.
4th and 1. Little scat back that time.
Shaquille Campbell's only 5'7", 150 pounds. They didn't see him. Short yardage, get it?
Gotcha. Let's take a look back at that first quarter. And here's a look at Wilson and getting the ball punched out there, and Maroa got it back. They had a touchdown called back. And then the bad snap led to the touchdown for Newman. Wilson hangs onto the ball that time and carries it in. 1st and 10. This is Brian Bars in there now for Newman. So some different looks, some different runners coming in for Newman. And
well, he's a little quicker, and I'm very impressed with the front 5 of how they sealed off the interior and then just put that corner on an island. Walls, the left tackle, and Akert, Banda, Bittner, and Neese, the front 5, did a nice job of sealing everybody off, and then that put the corner just on single man-to-man to make that tackle, which he did, but after a first down.
Here's Wilson with it. Avoids a tackler, steps inside the 20, and now down at just about the 15-yard line. Pick up a 14 and a first down for the Comets.
Nice job by Wilson. He's a little quicker, as you can see, reading the hole, his feet, his cutbacks. He's only a junior at 1,200 yards and averaged 7.5 yards per carry. Nice job there on the cutbacks. They're over pursuing to the point of attack, and he's able to cut back against the grain, doing a nice job.
9th play of the drive for the Comets. And not much there.
Well, see, but that's what you wanted with that kind of an offense. He got his 4 yards on first down, and that's crucial.
339 yards per game on the ground for the Comets.
Now, sometimes people get greedy, and you have to have patience with this kind of an offense. You've got to be patient to take 3 and 4 yards at a time. And certainly every time, because it's 4 down territory now, so that first 4 yards on first down, now he's got 3 downs to pick up 6. He's not going to need it, though.
Blessman, touchdown. Joe Blessman, 12, make that 11 yards on the score. And it's a 12-0 Comets lead.
Nice cutback on the run. Cornerback over pursued, coming inside with the play to the inside, and he just bounced it outside. Right here, just take a look. It gets a good block here. He comes inside, and then right there he just steps, cuts it back outside. Good move.
Newman calls timeout. They will attempt the point after we come back. 12-0 Comets. 2010 IHSA Football Championships brought to you by Country Financial. We're back. 12-0 Newman with the lead over Maroa Forsyth, and they will go for 2. Mike Paposi thinks we can make more than half of our 2-point conversions. If we do that, we're better than 100% kicking, and I don't think we can do that. So far they are 0 for 2 here today. That's going to be marked short.
He's working into his percentages here. Well, they've taken advantage of the turnovers. They've taken advantage of field position, and that's what you need to do if you're going to win a state championship. You have to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that are given to you by your opponent, and thus far they have done that. But the other point of that is I'm very impressed thus far with how Maroa Forsyth has thrown the ball. Good routes. they're throwing the ball well. They're making good routes, and I'm very impressed with Reedy's arm strength.
Good long drive by Newman, capped off by the touchdown run.
Good cutback right there.
Joe Blessman, the 6-foot senior.
Tell you what, he doesn't look 200 pounds, but he's got some good power and showed some good quickness there.
19th touchdown run of the season for Joe Blessman.
The other thing that tells me about his speed is I always try to look at the longest run of any back. And usually if they're shorter runs, you'll know that maybe he doesn't have that great breakaway speed. But aside from his 1,400 yards and his 9-point average per carry, his longest run is 90 yards. So either he was playing against an awful slow team or he's got some speed.
Mike Paposi says he's quite a load. See the wind affecting the ball, teetering on the tee there. It's not easy to say, teetering on the tee.
Teetering tee.
Props with it, had a little trouble getting a handle on it. Breaks a tackle at the 23. He's got some
kicker.
Wesley
Can he make
Probst.
it? No, he can't.
He's still on his feet at the 30 and brought down it inside the 25-yard line. Toby Probst. 70 yards on the return.
That was exciting. Combination of an outstanding effort and some poor tackling. That combination will always lead to long runs. Let's take a look, and if you can count how many times he's touched. 1, 2, 3.
One tackle missed, shook another.
And then right now, for some reason, 14 is trying to slow him down till help gets there.
I was amazed he was able to stay in bounds.
I was too. Right there, right there. They had him wrapped up good, but just a heck of an effort.
Props return gives Maroa Forsyth a 23-yard field. Stelzariti. He hits Hockaday this time, but no gain as Hockaday loses his footing. They had trouble hooking up. They complete the pass, but don't get any yards out of it.
Well, that's just going to be like a single screen out there. What they're trying to do is there's 2 receivers there, and one receiver blocks the other man's defender and hope that he can pop it, and he's away from everybody out there on the perimeter. They've got him spread out all over the field here.
3 receivers left. The give is to Scott. Not much room there, although he gets an extra yard after he was going down. So a nice job falling forward by Gary Scott.
Well, this is the defense that they like to run. They like to run at cover 2, which is 2 safeties over the top and either man under or zone under. Right here, a pretty good effort by the defensive front to contain that play. Now we're looking at a 3-man front here.
3rd and 6. Stelzariti, plenty of time. And it's complete down at the 12-yard line to Hockaday.
That's good patience. Excellent patience on the quarterback's part to wait till that man settles down in that zone instead of trying to go over the top for the score when it wasn't there.
And that kickoff return by Toby Probst is a 2A state championship game record. The previous record was 44 yards. That one covering 72. 1st and 10, ball on the 11-yard line.
You see how he was almost stationary when he caught the ball right there. That's because he settled down in the zone and waited for the quarterback to find him.
Stelzariti rolling right, looking for somebody. Had a man in the end zone, couldn't see him, and gets clobbered at the 12.
That was a good job by the defense of sliding everything in his direction. The linebacker slid, the secondary slid, didn't let anybody get open. Good job of containing an outstanding tackle. He's looking.
I had the advantage of a little bit of height there to see Bo Banning running in the end zone, but Stelzariti couldn't find him. Dustin Hoffman in motion. He gets the handoff. He's outside the hash, outside the numbers. Oh, and brought down. Thought he was going to get more yardage than that. He's brought down about the 9-yard line.
That's an outstanding job by the corner because he was absolutely on an island, and then he was getting clipped at the same time and still was able to make the play. You can see right here just a jet sweep. He's coming in motion. He just gets the ball handed off.
3rd and 8. Stelzeriti down the middle. Bo Banning, did he hang on? No, incomplete.
Threw it a little behind him. But I'll tell you, he does deliver the football.
Bo Banning, the intended receiver. His name reminds me of that song. Bo Banning, Bo Banning, me, my.
Bo Banning, Bo Banna, Banna, Bo. I've never been much into music. Good throw. I mean, he tried to drill it right in there on his back shoulder a little bit. Could have been caught. Could have been caught, but on that back shoulder, going in the wrong direction. It's a tough catch.
Yep. NFL, he might have got that. It looked almost like the ground might have caused that. NFL, if I was an NFL coach and had a replay, I might challenge that. That's not the case here. 12-0 our score. Newman leading Maroa Forsyth. 5:58 to go here in the 2nd quarter. 2010 IHSA Football Championships brought to you by Country Financial. 5:58 to go here, 2nd quarter. 12-0 Newman with the lead. Maroa Forsyth 4th and 8 from the 9-yard line.
Going fast so they don't adjust. Power eye. Nope. That's good discipline right there. They did not jump.
A couple of linemen in the backfield there.
Now he's got to take a timeout because they're not giving the look he wants. He thought he was going to catch him in something, and they were obviously well prepared for that. That's good scouting, good coaching. They came out of the huddle so fast and run up in that formation, which they haven't shown the entire game, but obviously had shown it in prior games earlier this year. But
Tim Younger and Aaron Ford were the linemen in the backfield that time, along with Scott.
He did not get the look he wanted, so the coach took a timeout. You're not going to be down there in a crucial scenario like this and not take advantage of that timeout.
Trojans still with 1 timeout remaining. Interesting decision here for Josh Jostis early in this game.
Well, you like to keep him spread out and keep it balanced. Now, if he sprints out, he's got more options, and he's on the hash, so he can sprint to the wide side now. He had done it earlier, but they had pretty good coverage on it. Now he's going to have a jet look here. Now he's got 3 receivers here, and he's going to kind of roll that way, thrown back. No, it's middle screen.
It's Beach. He's open, and he's in the end zone. Wesley Beach across the middle for the touchdown from 9 yards on 4th and 8, and Maroa is on the scoreboard.
Great call. They're always great when they work, but in this case, what happened when he went in motion, the linebacker slid as well as the secondary. Then he only took 2 steps. Quarterback took only 2 steps to get that illusion of rolling to the right, and then he just threw that little screen backside. You take the little steps, he's looking this way the whole time, and just throws it right back there for that little screen. Great call and better execution.
28th touchdown pass of the year for Stelzeriti. The kick is up, and it is good, but not by a lot. Cody Mahmoud El Rakawi with the extra point. And it's a 5-point game, 12-7. Sterling Newman, their lead cut to 5 here on the completion by Stelzeriti.
It's so important for the quarterback to look away and not to give it away. And that's exactly what he did. See how he looks away, and that gets the linebackers to flow in the direction he's looking, and he drops it back to the backside. Just that illusion makes a difference in the play.
There you get a look at Wesley Beach, the 6'3", 196-pound senior with the touchdown catch. 7 plays, 23 yards, 3 minutes, 14 seconds. It was a short field, but they really had to earn it and used every down they had.
But in that type of an offense, that short field is almost a disadvantage to them because it helps the defensive backs. They don't have as much to cover. So, again, in that kind of a situation, it can be a drawback. But they certainly took advantage of it with good play calling and great execution.
We talked about how Stelzeriti has kind of been just barely off. He makes the completion that time. He's 6 for 10. Dylan Patch will kick off. He is not the kicker except on kickoffs.
And after this, he might not be the kicker on kickoffs
either. Yeah.
They run out of the bunch formation on the kickoff to throw off the blocking for the receiving team, but when you kick like that, I don't care what you're coming out of. That does not help them at all. You've got to get the ball down the field.
Illegal procedure. Kickoff out of bounds.
33.
5-yard penalty, will re-kick.
So they will have to re-kick.
I don't know if he's trying to be cute as far as putting the kick in a certain direction, but he's not getting any part of that ball at all.
Mahmoud El Rakawi is the place kicker. Extra points, field goals, and it's Dylan Patch doing the kickoff work. He's a 5'8" freshman.
Well, you can see how far up the receiving team is. Anticipating, you see the bunch formation right here to throw off the blocking schemes on the return. But you got to kick the ball downfield, and that's what they're going to do now. They got a whole different, and then the wind throws off the whole concept.
He'll be kicking into the wind.
You have to have somebody hold it. I sometimes have trouble like that putting my title as Provy on the tee.
Do you get anybody to hold it for you?
No, never.
Didn't work for Charlie Brown either.
Now he goes in the other direction with it.
Short kick.
Kickoff return.
And is Profiter with the return for Newman. They will take over at midfield. Up 12-7, 5:47 to go here in the second quarter. This is the second straight year for Maroa Forsyth in the state championship game. It's also the second straight season they've played a big Rivers Conference school. They lost to Morrison last year, and now they faced another team from the northwestern corner of the state in Sterling Newman. Here's the give to Campbell. Shaquille Campbell.
There's a crucial first down again, the first play in the series, getting 6 yards.
5'7", 150-pound senior. There's not a lot to him, and he can get through those holes quickly.
That's just nothing more than the power. Two backs leading off tackle, double down, kick out. 5-yard gain.
2nd and 4 for the Comets. And the give is to Blessman, and he's met by a host of tacklers at about the 41-yard line.
Yeah, this has been a fast first half. We're down to 5 minutes.
You had to say it, didn't you?
Well played game. Very well played game.
4:45 to go.
Bread and butter power off tackle, first down.
Brian Bars. Quite a few carries. It's his 3rd carry off the bench.
First and 10 at the 37-yard line.
Blessman and Wilson pretty even in their yardage coming into the game. Wilson 1,200 plus, Blessman 1,454. So they split things almost evenly, and then there's some supporting cast behind them. Here's Wilson. He had a big lane, makes a move on Hockaday, gets inside the 20, and he's down to the 13-yard line. Boy, he made a nice move that kind of froze Joe Hockaday and got around him. 24 yards.
He's got to trust his speed, though. He could have busted this one. Let's watch this all the way through now here. Does a nice job of cutback right there, a good move, and he cuts in instead of using his speed to stay outside. He might have been able to outrun him, but I'm up here. He's down there, and it was a nice run, first down.
Here's Blessman. He might have got a couple.
Good job of the defensive line right there, because there was no movement at all for the offensive line to have any kind of a surge, and he was just bouncing off his own people, going nowhere with a 2-yard gain. But again, 4-down territory with 3:45 on the clock. This is exactly what they want to do. This is their kind of offense.
2nd and 7, ball on the 8-yard line. Give is to Campbell. He finds a lane. He's down inside the 5, down near the goal line. He's caught just short.
Just a great push by that offensive line, guys.
And they'll be pretty close to a first down.
Yeah, 1st and goal. Good job by the offensive line of Walls, the tackle, Eckert, guard, Band to the center, Bittner, the other guard, and Neese, the other tackle. Excellent job. That's the surge you need with this kind of an offense. You've got to have a good offensive line. Now, they average 222 pounds up front, 6'1". That's a pretty good sized high school offensive line.
4,023 yards this season for Newman on the ground. And they are piling it up here again. Under 3 minutes to go now. 1st and goal. And the give and the touchdown is to Brian Bars. And it's Newman going up 18-7 pending the point after.
Didn't take much time either.
Brian Bars, 5'7" sophomore. His 4th carry is a touchdown run for the Comets.
That's the kind of drive, type of football they like to play. That helps his percentage right there.
They'll go for 2 again and get it that time. And Mike Paposi says it's a no-brainer to me. We go for 2. That's part of our makeup. We want to play smash mouth. That's the kind of team we have to be.
Well, the kids have to realize that's what they're going to do. You can see right here, a nice surge, but too many defensive linemen standing up. They're too high, which means they get knocked off the ball, and that means you're knocked into the end zone, and that's how people get 2 points or a touchdown. Got to stay low. When you're on the goal line, defensive linemen got to stay under pad level.
20-7, Mike Paposi's team leads it here. 410 career wins for that man, Mike Paposi.
Is that a misprint? 400 wins.
410 wins.
That's incredible.
31 years.
That is absolutely
5 wins or more in 25 of those seasons.
That is really amazing.
He's up in the Jack McInerney strata with those kind of numbers, isn't he?
Maybe on the other side. Not on that side.
20-7. We've got. We need to just let him use that that practice tee, the triangular thing that holds it for him. We got to work on that. On the windy day, that's legal.
He's got too much air in the ball. Looks like a big turkey.
I don't
wingless.
I don't think you're cooking it right.
I gotta say something. Mention that to my wife. And that was after it was stuffed.
Oh,
look at that thing. Come on, put somebody up there and hold it.
Got that ankle all taped up. There we go. I like it. We've seen a Blessman has the thigh taped. I mean, this looks like a 1965 game out there. The tape on the ankle, the tape on the thigh. Line drive kick, and that is going to go into the end zone, and it'll be Maroa Forsyth ball starting at their own 20-yard line. Automatic touchback in high school. And that could be a really potent weapon. Metamora has a great kicker, and Brendan Van Meeghem, he kicked a game-winning field goal as a freshman. And when you force that other team to start on their 20 all the time, that's quite a weapon.
Well, and the other part of it is you don't allow them to set up a return. And a lot of times, I don't think fans realize that people spend a lot of times on special teams and kick returns, and that's where you break a long one, which is very disheartening to a team. And now you kick it in the end zone, they got to bring it on to the 20. You get settled up, and you're ready to go. Good route.
Good route. Just off the fingertips of Hockaday. They have had a heck of a time, and they are so close.
They're so close, and that was the wind was a factor there, but that was really an excellent route.
22!
That wind kind of blowing right to left. It's also swirling and blowing kind of back toward our camera position here too. So it's tough to read. It's kind of like playing golf on a windy day. You never, you pick the wrong club. I do that all the time.
I was going to say, easy for you to say.
2nd and 10. And the give is to Scott.
got potential. He's about a step or two away from breaking one because the linebackers have been sliding out to get to the flat quickly, and there's twice now they've run it up inside on a little trap, and he's been a step or two away from busting it right up the middle. It is not out of the realm of possibility happening this time, sometime in this game, if him busting one up the middle. It's like they're going to bring a linebacker inside.
3rd and 5 for the Trojans. Stelzeriti keeps it.
There he is.
Nowhere to go. It'll bring up 4th down.
They stacked that linebacker over the nose man, and then they just ran a stunt there and forced that play. Good call. Good defensive call.
25-yard line.
Another timeout? Yes.
Yep, on 4th and 5. Didn't catch who called it.
I think we had some personnel issues.
Newman called it.
We got to do our jobs. We got to get a great punt off here, and we got to get this stopped.
For that last punt, they might want to have a little extra time there to try and stick another one in here before halftime.
Well, oftentimes, too, some kids are on certain special teams and they're not on others, and if they're not paying attention on the sideline, and all of a sudden it's 4th down, and they're over there talking to their cheerleader friends or getting a drink of Gatorade or who knows what they're doing. You know, this high school football, and you got to consider all those things. And all of a sudden it's 4th down and he's not out in the field. Don't think that he wouldn't pay the price at practice the next week if there was a next week. But in this case, you know, you got to waste a timeout because somebody's not ready when you make a personnel change.
We don't want to malign anybody's reputation.
Not at all.
It might not have been that.
That's very true. But oftentimes that happens in high school football.
I think they're huddled around the space heater. That's a good idea. Boy, it was great when the Bears were here and they had the heated benches. Oh, those were awesome. For the sideline reporter.
Spoiled. You're spoiled.
Sideline reporter loved those. High punt.
No bounce.
And it bounces at the 50 as the Newman folks stay far away from that. Punt of 27 into that win. That's not all that bad today.
Well, this last drive they scored from about this with less time than this. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Now remember, let's not forget about that play action pass. This is right about where they used it the last time, only on 2nd down. And the secondary is really rolled up big time.
Total yards hugely in favor. Hanlon back to throw, and he's sacked. Brought down by Tyler Marsh, the team leader in tackles, and he gets the sack there. A big play. Push the Comets back a little bit.
Did I jinx him by calling the play? Here he comes right now. You can see him. Swims past the center, and there's your inside man coming. Nice job right there. Well done.
Tyler Marsh, 6'1", 194-pound senior. He was Johnny on the spot there. 2nd and 18.
Power sweep.
Here's the pitch to Profiter. Shook loose of a tackler and is down at the 45-yard line. Looked like Beach had him by the ankles and couldn't hang on.
Good effort right there. That sweep, once you toss the ball like that, everybody takes off in the flow direction, and that's when you have a good back that'll get to the point of attack and then cut back against the grain, which he did. He only picked up 3 yards, but he was 1 step away from breaking a long one on that.
Jason Profiter on the carry. 3rd down and 7. And a different look here. A couple of receivers split wide for Newman. Hanlon back to throw. Looking right, looking for Wilson. Nobody there. He's going to take it himself. Trying to get outside, and he will be about 4 yards short and stop the clock with 38 seconds to go here in the 2nd quarter.
He's got some quickness. You can see right here that he's looking to go to the outside. They hit a combination route out there, but good pressure. And now he's just trying to outrun the outside linebacker, Wellesley Beach. And you can see as soon as he tucks it, he's not throwing it, and he's using the clock.
There is a flag on the play, and it looks like early indications are it's against Newman. They've already backed up.
Got to be a on sports or face mask or something.
Holding. Well, you can hear how windy it is down there at field level, too. When he tried to turn on his microphone, you could hear that wind whistling into it. It's going to be 3rd and 21. Is that about a wedge for you?
90 degree.
38 seconds to go, 2nd quarter. Hanlon looking to throw again. Doesn't have anybody, and he's brought down Dylan Trudeau with the sack.
Got another timeout here, I think.
So the defense for Maroa Forsyth stepping up here. Tyler Marsh, and now Dylan Trudeau with a sack.
See right here, he doesn't know anything about the backside that's coming after him. He's just looking play side, but he tucks it right away, which is a dead giveaway. He almost lost that football. Once you drop that ball down and don't show any influence of passing the ball where you keep it up around shoulder level, everybody else is coming after you because now you know you're running. As long as you keep it up from a quarterback standpoint and you're attacking the perimeter, the defenders are going to play you soft because they still think you're going to throw the ball. Once you drop it down and tuck, now they're all coming up big time. And he was very close right there to losing the football. Now he called a timeout here, and the thought must be this: that snap that went over the head could happen right here. Look at the field position. This could be a very similar scenario as resulted in the first touchdown with the high snap, and then they went in from the 1 yard line.
All right, that went against Maroa.
Correct.
Maroa hoping it goes the other direction this time.
See what happens if they put any pressure on him.
Joe Blessman back to punt for Newman on 4th and 28.
Interesting how this snap is. Yeah, pretty good snap.
Good. And Blessman's got the wind at his back.
He got rid of it quickly, too.
Good room for a return, though. And covered well by the Newman kick return team, or punt return team, and that is Hockaday with the return. Punt of 42, return of 12.
It's a good job by the punter getting rid of the ball very quickly. Not posing with it or getting his steps down, just getting rid of it.
20-7 our score. Newman Central Catholic with the lead over Maroa Forsyth. 20 seconds to go. We saw Tuscola take a knee with a minute to go, facing the wind in the first game. This time it's Stelzariti with the throw. Boy, and a flag on the play. And they might get interference on Newman. It was intended for Beach.
Jason Proctor, depending on the play, there's a field flag.
The ball kind of pinballed out of there.
Well, 3 guys closed on it very quickly.
Looked like 2 Newman defenders ran into each other.
Ten yards, first down.
There was holding on the play. I'm not so sure it was against whoever was defending Beach, though, but there is a holding call, and that gives us 14 seconds to go. 1st and 10. Stelzariti looking for an out route, and Bo Banning is there for the catch and gets out of bounds. 10 seconds on the clock.
Good throw, good catch. I'm impressed with his arm. Throwing the ball very well.
Just
nice
junior.
Good route, though. I mean, you know, a key to a guy being that wide open is a combination of defenders obviously playing soft, but good routes and good delivery. Same thing right there.
Same way. 1st down, 7 seconds.
Now what he'll do is he'll give him that same look. He'll break on an out cut and go right up the field. Now, here's where discipline comes in as far as the secondary. Look at the score, look at the clock. You know he's not going for another out route. He's going to break it up the field, so you just play him soft. Give him the out route. Let him take that into the intermission.
They're going to have to do a lot of those. They don't
there
have
he
enough
goes.
time
That's
to do
exact.
that.
There
Yep.
it is, right there.
Good call.
Exactly.
And almost picked off. Profiter had it in his hands, and Banning was the intended receiver. He's out of bounds and then came back in. It would not have counted anyway.
The exact 3 in a row now. He pump fakes. He goes up the field. He did an out, and then he went up the field. And the safety comes up to come underneath. But surprisingly, that was even too close. The secondary, the defender shouldn't have been that close to him. There should have been a bigger cushion.
2 seconds, one more crack at it. Stelzariti, a little pressure, throws it as he's going down, incomplete. And the pressure applied there by Carlos Salazar, 14 sacks on the season, and he forced a hurry there and an incompletion, and it's Newman with the 20-7 lead over Maroa Forsyth here at the half. We talked about style versus style, and for the 2nd straight game we've seen power with the advantage.
Well, that's true, but we're going to see, I think, a more interesting second half.
All right, we are at halftime, 20-7. Newman with the lead over Maroa Forsyth, the 2010 IHSA Football Championships, brought to you by Country Financial. We are back at halftime. Newman with the 20-7 lead. And there you see a touchdown run for Newman. Brian Bars, one of the 3 scorers for Newman. Here's Stelzeriti from Maroa Forsyth over the middle to Wesley Beach. That was their only score. And it's Newman with the 20-7 lead over the Trojans. It's number 1, Newman Central Catholic, number 1, undefeated, trying to go 14-0 and win the state championship, the second one since 2004. We're back right after this. The 2010 IHSA Football Championships brought to you by Country Financial.
Welcome back to the 2010 IHSA State Football Championships. We're at halftime of the Class 2A game. Newman Central Catholic with a 20-7 lead over Maroa Forsyth. Joining me now is Greg King. He's the president of the Illinois High School Football Coaches Association, also the head football coach at Sterling High School. All state teams always come up this time of year. A lot of good kids, good kids in the classroom and on the field being honored this weekend here.
It really is. We pick 18 kids each class, regardless of positions. We try to get the 18 best football players we think we can, and we have a lot of coaches trying to make a lot of hard decisions on who the best players are. But you know what? You try to go far to playoffs, you'll see a lot of those kids down here, and that's what's great about this time of year.
How do those decisions get made? What kinds of things do you look at? Is it more than just stats? Is it coaches' opinions of players and what they've seen these players do this season?
It really is, and it's a team award too. The farther your team goes, and the better chance you've got of making it as well, obviously. But yeah, you take stats into account, you take coaches' recommendations and all those things, and those coaches are making a decision. That's a tough thing because there's a lot of good kids out there that don't make it as well.
And you want to talk a little about the Hall of Fame back here as well?
Yeah, the Illinois High School Football Coaches Association, every year we elect some members to the Hall of Fame, and for a lot of guys have done a lot of great things for the game of football. I got to play for 2 guys who are in the Hall of Fame and coach with another, and it's great to honor those guys. And back on the Illinois practice facility back there's all the plaques of all the individuals that are deemed that honor. So it's a great honor for our coaches, and we'll elect some more in the coming weeks here.
I know you don't get to see much from Central Catholic during the season with your duties as head football coach of Sterling, but a lot of representation from the northwest corner of the state here this weekend. It's got to be good for you guys to see. It
really is. It's good for all kids in that area to get to see, kids put some hard work in and get the honor playing down here on the turf. So, as Sterling football coach, that's my goal for our program every year, and hopefully we can get there someday too.
Greg, thanks a lot for joining us. We really appreciate it. Greg King is president of the Illinois High School Football Coaches Association. We're at halftime of the Class 2A game. Newman Central Catholic with a 27 lead. We're back right after this.
Lee Hall, Jack McInerney back on the campus of the University of Illinois Memorial Stadium, 20-7. Sterling Newman with the lead over Maroa Forsyth. And Jack, they say it's a game of inches, and we've kind of seen that here in the first half. Stelzeriti and Hockaday have just missed just by that much of hooking up on some pretty good completions and getting things going for this Trojans offense.
Well, let's look at that very first penalty they had. That was 6 points brought back from midfield, about a 62-yard touchdown pass brought back, changed the momentum somewhat. I've been very impressed with them, though. I think the second half, they were crisp, but just a step away on so many big plays. I think we've got a lot to look forward to in the second half in the throwing game.
Yeah, it's really deceptive when you see 3 penalties for 20 yards when they call back a 46-yard touchdown. Here's a look at some of the first half action. It's Wilson being stripped of the football early. They could not turn that into any points because of the penalty. And then the bad snap to Hockaday. He couldn't handle it. That set up a touchdown. It was Wilson with the touchdown, and Mike Poposi has kind of spread the wealth. Blessman has a touchdown as well, and Bars. Here's the touchdown for Maroa Forsyth. Nice little floater over the middle to Beach. Stelzeriti to Beach. And that made it a 1-touchdown game. But Newman punches it in here, and they take a 20-7 lead into the locker room. Bars off the bench, and there you get a look at some of those first half numbers, and boy, the total yards tell you a lot of that story, don't they?
They really do, but also they're taking back the fact that touchdown and a couple of crucial plays that hurt them with penalties. And I think we've got a big second half coming up. Maroa Forsyth's right on the verge of so many big plays, and I don't think that's going to fall on deaf ears in that locker room to tell them, you're going to step away. This whole first half could be totally different right now. So we've got a much closer game than the score indicates.
What do you see Maroa, if you're in the locker room with Maroa, if you're trying to make adjustments here at halftime, what are you telling your kids right now?
Well, I'm telling them not to do a heck of a lot more than we were doing in the first half. Cut back on the penalties, and They weren't really dramatic penalties, but in key situations. But I'd go back and do a little more of the running game. The throwing has been good. The routes have been excellent. The quarterback's throwing the ball well. A little more done on the ground, and I think we've got a heck of a ball game in the second half. Certainly, everybody's in it. Not one team has one more advantage than the other, except the one that has a few more points on the board.
You take away the penalty, you take away the miscue on special teams, and maybe it's a one-touchdown game.
Absolutely. There's a lot of excitement left to be had here.
All right. So far, it's Sterling Newman with the excitement, leading 20-7 here at the half in our 2A state championship game. And we will be back with second half action coming your way on the IHSA TV network, brought to you by Country Financial. And Newman ready to run out of tunnel here and get things going in the second half. After you play a first half like that, why not, huh?
Absolutely. They're ready to get going here. They can't wait to get started. But they've got a lot of football ahead. I'm interested to see what the adjustments are, and I don't think they're going to be major adjustments at all on either side of the football.
When you look at Maroa Forsyth, they've been susceptible to running and giving up rushing yards. They allowed over 350 rushing yards to Central A&M in a regular season loss, but since week 8 they've only allowed 9.4 points per game, so they kind of tightened things up until this first half here.
Well, what happens oftentimes depends on sometimes how many players you have going both ways. Now Maroa Forsyth has 9 players going both ways at any one particular time, and that can play a deciding factor, and especially if 3 of them are linemen, offensive and defensive linemen. That enters into the factor, and you never know a bumper bruise here or who's getting gassed at a particular point, but those little things do make a difference.
We talked about Mike Paposi, and you always think about kind of things, what might have been. This is his 31st year, but 30 years ago he took a job at Willowbrook. There was a coaching change here at the University of Illinois. One of the coaches, I believe it was when Coach Moeller lost his job, one of the assistants here went to Willowbrook and essentially took a job and took away Paposi's job, so he ended up at Newman. And he's still there 31 years later. Isn't it funny how your life, the whimsical things that can happen and change the course of a life? But Corey Bielema, the coach at Morrison who grew up in that area, said Newman football wasn't Newman football until Coach Paposi got there.
It's amazing, some of the hidden stories.
Yeah.
Some you can tell on air, others you can't. But there are so many of those stories out there that are so very interesting. You talk about different people who have interviewed for different jobs, some that have gotten them, some that haven't, and have gone on to careers at other schools and built dynasties. There's a lot of interesting stories out there.
Well, there's no doubt that Mike Paposi has found a fit at Sterling Newman. He says, I love this school, I love the people, I love the kids, and I certainly love their efforts. And he is halfway to another state championship. They won in 2004. Ironically, they faced Maroa Forsyth in the semifinals that year and beat them 14-7. So this isn't the first time these two programs have met on the road to Champaign and a state title. And you look at Mike Paposi's record, they won state championship in 2004, they won it in '94, they won the 1A championship in 1990. So a very successful career, a couple of other state championship game appearances to go along with those 3 first place trophies. And looking for number 4 here, still a half of football to go.
Well, it's a long way off, and of course it's the last thing he's absolutely thinking about at this point. But I'm sure a lot of the fans in the stands are. And oftentimes you look at a score like that, especially in high school, and you think, oh, we've got it in the bag, but that is so far from the truth, it's amazing.
You look at the road to the playoffs. I mean, the semifinals. They were down to Morrison 19-0 and came back and won that game 22-19 and had a tough game with Amboy in the first week of the playoffs. Let's go downstairs to Aaron. He's with Josh Jostes.
Guys, thanks. Here with Maroa Forsyth head coach Josh Jostes, coaching down 20-7 at halftime. What was the message to your kids in the locker room?
You know, we got to believe we can still win the football game. You know, we gave them a touchdown. We had a touchdown call back, or this is a tie ball game right now. First 5 minutes, third quarter are key to any football game, and will be again today.
Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck in the second half. Guys, back to you.
All right, Aaron, thanks a bunch. Josh Jostes, he hasn't been quite around quite as long as Mike Poposi, but he's done an outstanding job too at Maroa Forsyth. 86 wins in 11 years, a first-place trophy in 06, and second here a year ago.
Well, whenever you're down coming into that second half, you know that the first few minutes of the third quarter are always crucial. But the other part of that is field position. And, you know, you can throw all the intangibles in there as far as what we did and what we didn't do and how we stubbed our own toe in that first half. But the first part of that sentence that he spoke about, that first 5 minutes of the third quarter, it's crucial as to field position and the various exchanges you'll make in the very first possessions, either one team or the other, and who leaves who in good field position for that first big drive of the third quarter of the second half.
And I guess it only stands to reason as a spread team, or you're more susceptible to the winds and the vagaries of the conditions.
Well, you know how they make adjustments when you're in the spread formations? When you have wind factors, you make adjustments as far as routes. You don't run as many verticals. Maybe you run more crossing routes. You run shallower routes, more curls, underneath routes, in between the linebackers. You don't go deep. You nickel dime them. You know, any pass that's less than 10 yards is considered a short pass, but in a spread formation, that's the way you keep drives going.
I'm surprised more high school teams don't take advantage of that.
Spread formation?
Well, no, but you don't have to throw the ball 20 or 30 yards down the field to have an effective passing.
That's a mentality, though. You have to have patience. And a lot of coaches who are very competitive don't have patience. And, of course, in the fans oftentimes, you know, they want you going for the bomb all the time because they think you're throwing the ball, that every pass should be downfield in the end zone.
A little chilly down there in the shade, 34 degrees, feels like 23 winds, and we saw the flags, Jack, and you talked about this a little bit in the first half. Sometimes those IHSA flags are starched completely right to left, and sometimes they're facing away from us and then they're facing at us. I mean, the wind hasn't been consistent one way all day.
Well, I took an elective at SIU, and it was in what are you laughing about?
Oh, I didn't know.
It was in architecture.
I didn't know if this was the 3 straight years on geometry or not.
In architecture. And just look at the lines around here, all the different ways this is set up. This leads to the different crossing winds that we have. Some parts of the stands are higher, then the end zone is lower, and then you have that cut-through area in there. There's a lot of intangibles that we coaches look at when we come down here to scout.
I guess knowing you as long as I have, I found it humorous that you went to a class.
Well, please.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. It's good to have you here. We've never done this together before.
No, we haven't.
A lot of fun.
It's fun. I hope it's not the last time.
Well, we'll see about that. Dustin Hoffman with it.
It's going nowhere.
He looked like he got caught at the 25, but he gets it out to the 29-yard line. Dustin Hoffman, the senior, and of course in May he'll be the graduate.
The graduate.
Thank you.
I was setting you up for that one.
Saving that for
I didn't
about
want to jump on it. Not bad field position right here.
12-yard return.
We'll see what happens here. This first drive is very important.
Stelzariti and Hockaday have just been slightly off, and we'll see if they can get it together here. This completion is to Beach. He had the touchdown catch earlier, and he's out to the 34-yard line. Pickup of about 6 on first down for the Trojans.
Good pickup, but it's not the form. It was not the defense that they were hoping for down there. What happened was they overloaded, and they had 3-on-2 down there, and that's why he ended up on an island and was single tackled, because they had one more man than they expected down there.
2nd and 5. The junior Stelzariti fakes left. Has it almost picked off, and it got a hand on it. It was Joe Blessman got his hands on it and then couldn't find it.
Now that's just great athleticism right there. The reaction to get his hands up, knowing it was a crossing route coming in behind him. See if we can get a look at it right here. It's coming in behind him, and he gets his hand up right there. You see the man right behind him. That's the guy that he was intended for, and that's just excellent reaction. Right there. And there's the receiver, number 2, right behind.
Bring Brings up 3rd and 5 for the Trojans. Here's
power.
the give to Scott. Nothing doing there. Met at the line of scrimmage. Carlos Salazar sticks his nose in there and makes the stop, and it'll bring up 4th down.
And speaking of that, Carlos Salazar is the nose man, 5'8", 175-pound senior. And the guy that's in the center line, defensive line, is the guy that everything rotates around. He's the one that disrupts things up there and loosens things up for the linebackers.
Hockaday will punt into the wind. A little low line driver, bounces and takes a Maroa Forsyth bounce, and down at the 32-yard line, where Newman will take over with a 20-7 lead, a punt of 35. The prevailing wind is right to left, so you could say that was into the wind. And Newman will take over.
Like a knuckleball.
Yeah.
Well, now here it comes down to, can they stop them? Can they get a turnover? Can they force them to punt? That's the key. I mean, I think they have complete confidence in their offense. It's just a matter of can they stop Sterling Newman?
Here's the give to Campbell. He finds a little lane to the right side, races for the sideline, and he meets a lot of guys in white uniforms there.
That could have been a touchdown if he would have turned it upfield.
Tyler Marsh in on the stop. You get a look at our Country Financial first half summary. Maroa Forsyth had that touchdown called back by a penalty. Newman Central scored a touchdown off of the bad snap, and the windy conditions, well, they've kind of wreaked havoc here all day. Blessman out to midfield, a gain of 10 and a 1st down for the Comets.
That's just good hard running inside right there. A combination of some good hard running and some arm tackling. Not fouling with your feet, but right here you can see it's just a trap. It's a real quick trap. Good effort right there. Arm tackle, good leg drive. Excellent job. That's the expectation you have for a good, tough fullback.
Wilson now picks up about 7 yards there. Wilson, a starter midway through last season, got into the lineup, and Mike Poposi says he's a slasher naturally, and we turned him more into a power runner. He needed some work on his blocking, but he has become quite a factor for this Comets team.
Well, when you run out of this formation, both the halfbacks have to be good blockers because they are the lead blockers. But what I like about Wilson is that he's got that speed because he's busted one for 72 yards during the regular season.
Blessman down inside the 40-yard line. It's more of this power football. We saw it in Class 1A from Lena Winslow, and we're seeing it controlling the 2A game to this point.
Right there is the fullback just on a quick dive play right in there, but they have to respect the outside man thinking he's going to bounce it outside. But you've got to keep them off balance with the play calling when you're running power football, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Wilson again to about the 35.
They run that, you know, that wishbone, but they'll run out of double tight. They'll run trips occasionally to stretch out the secondary. But for the most part, they're relying on running inside with power and trap and option. Haven't seen much option. We've seen a lot of power and a lot of trap and a lot of leads.
When you talk about a guy that able to pop it, you talk about Blessman and that 90-yard. That was his long run of the year. He had 319 yards on 6 carries in a game against Anawan. Here he is again. And he's close to a 1st down inside the 30-yard line, and a late flag in the Newman backfield. Holding against the Comets.
Now,
both teams have shot themselves in the foot a little bit here.
They have, and negated some decent runs and or passes. A touchdown on Maroa Forsyth's part, unfortunately. Discussing here the options of what they want to do. But oftentimes that fake for the fullback looks like it's going right over center. He bounces it outside tackle.
On the offense. Take it down.
You look at the story of this Newman team over the course of the year, the regular season, they really didn't have, I mean, you look at their final scores and there were no close games. I mean, not anywhere near close. Running clocks in several of them. They beat Amboy in week 8, 44-0, then come back in week 1 of the playoffs and in a dogfight with them and only beat them 14-7. Here's a little pitch to Wilson. He loses his footing and then gets out of bounds at about the 37-yard line. That's the interesting thing about high school football, and you get to the playoffs, and all that regular season stuff doesn't mean anything. You clobber a team in week 8 by 44 points, put a running clock on them, and then you 14-7. I mean, you're playing for your postseason lives, and that really opened a lot of eyes. You know, Blessman says we learned our lesson. We have to prepare for every team, no matter who they are.
Well, oftentimes you got to look at strength of schedule. You got to look at the conference they come out of. Don't look at the loss column oftentimes, because you'll see a team with 2 losses and they'll win the state championship. And they came out of a tough conference. They played tough competition throughout and have gotten better throughout the season.
Blessman again follows his blocker. Gets down to about the 32. Yeah, but that's a team they just beat 2 weeks before by 44 points.
High school football.
I hear you.
High school football. Quarterback could have broke up with his girlfriend. I mean, there's all kinds of intangibles. It sounds silly, but true. Here comes a little smash mouth. They're leading with the wingback coming in motion. Look at that kick out. That pancake follows up right behind him. Good leg drive, good surge. Watch the point of attack to your right. Blocking down, kicking out, coming in right in behind him. That's the type of football they want to play at Sterling Newman.
4th and 4. They're going for it. Profiter in motion.
Quick pitch
to Wilson. He's got it and more. Wilson on his feet at the 10. 5. No indication. Touchdown now. Touchdown, Tim Wilson. 32 yards on the touchdown run for Tim Wilson, and it's 26-7 Central.
That's the second time they ran that play. The last time he ran it on 3rd and long, and he went sideline. Watch the pitches underneath the back's arms. Watch, right underneath him. And what that does is that freezes the inside linebacker, but gives him a running start to get on the perimeter. And that's nothing more than what the old days they used to call a quick pitch. And he just gets outside, and off he is to the races.
Tim Wilson, his 2nd touchdown run of the day.
And going for 2.
Absolutely, they go for 2 all the time. Handling the pitch to Profiter. Can't get outside that time, ridden out of bounds. And it was Gary Scott riding him out of bounds and denying the 2-point conversion try. But Mike Paposi's team adds to their lead. It's 26-7 here midway through the 3rd quarter.
At least on my part, obviously not.
And we are back 26-7. Newman with the lead over Maroa Forsyth. And the power game looking pretty powerful here today.
Well, they're running the clock, they're running the football, their play selection has been outstanding. They've been getting good efforts up front, which you need when you kind of run this offense. And their offensive line has done a terrific job. I mean, you know, when you look at Walls and Ackert and Banda and Bittner and Neese, they're just creating havoc in the defensive line for Maroa Forsyth.
Lucas Neese, number 61, the All-State lineman. His twin brother Travis missed the regular season with a stress fracture in his foot, and doing quite a job for Newman. He and the rest of his lineman friends. That one bounces into the end zone. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line for Maroa Forsyth. Time is getting critical here for them to start getting something put together.
Well, once they do, it won't take long, but it's a matter of when they do and how they'll do it, because right now, things have not been generated well. They'll have a couple good plays, and then all of a sudden they'll have 2 bad ones and kill the drive, and they got a punt, and that field position exchange has been very poor.
Stelzariti has trouble, and he lost the ball as he turned to throw, and he's brought down at the 12-yard line. And Mike Paposi is used to seeing this kind of style. I mean, there's a lot of power game in Northwestern Illinois, but Morrison in their conference used to run the spread. So there were 4 or 5 other teams that did the same thing in their conference. They're used to having success against this type offense, and maybe Logan Stelzariti needs a hand warmer or something down there, but he had a little trouble with the exchange that time.
Well, watch the fact that, again, you always have a man on the center. That's crucial. And then the other thing is, with this offense, he's taken his eyes off of the ball to look at the receivers and or the coverage. And oftentimes, you know, he's just assuming that he's going to catch the ball, and that's just a little fraction of a second that he's looking at the secondary coverage. That's when he's dropping the ball. You see a man right over the center right there.
Check out,
and that's always crucial.
Yeah, check out the pursuit by John LeMay here.
Just a real good job here of The key to that pursuit is the outside guy right there, number 24, keeping outside contain and turning it back inside of the linebackers. They're scraping.
3rd and 17.
Fundamentally sound football.
Looking for Hockaday, had it right in his hands and couldn't hang on. Boy, that has been the story of this day. Just good throws right there, and just a little high, a little low, can't hang on. It's gone both ways.
We'll have to give him a positive. It was an excellent route. I mean, he ran an excellent route. The ball was right there, and he just couldn't hang on to it. The route running and the throwing is very crisp. They're just not hanging on to the football, and that's obviously a big factor. That's a 3rd part of that package.
Hockaday to punt deep in his own territory. Little end-over-ender.
Coming out of the short end of the field position.
Haven't seen a lot of punt returns today.
Well, they look to see where the receiver is and then try to punt it in the opposite way.
25-yard punt into the breeze.
Said Louise.
And Mike Poposi has to like where his team stands to this point.
Well, the field position for his offense, the field position, you know, you're cutting the field in half.
Gives to Campbell. He runs into a whole stack of linemen there and brought down about the 35. Corey Bielema, the coach at Morrison, said Newman's a machine. It's like a hydraulic hammer. It's going to keep pounding and pounding and pounding. And if it's only a yard or two this time, it might be 5 or 6 the next time, and they're just going to keep hammering away at you until they get it done.
Well, when you run this kind of an offense, you have to be very patient. And obviously Mike is a very patient man. You can see by his mannerism right there, he's not all hyper. He just knows, he has confidence in his offensive line and confidence in his scheme. They're going to get it done.
Give to Profiter. He's still on his feet. Did a nice job of kind of not allowing that scrum there to trip him up and maneuver around the pile.
Combination of that, good surge up front, and some sloppy tackling. Just look at everybody's locked onto somebody. And he just keeps his feet moving, and that's so critical for a running back. Keep your feet moving. That creates the power and momentum, and always forward lean. If you're going to get tackled, you want to be tackled going forward. That's an extra yard or two.
Here's the give to Blessman. He's brought down about the 23-yard line. Blessman with 70 yards to this point. And a touchdown in this ball game. 26-7 the lead with about 4:40 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Again, just a fake going off tackle behind the lead blocker. Everybody blocks down and the lead back kicks out. He just follows him up inside with some hard-nosed running. Good forward lean.
2nd and 5. This time it's Wilson. They like that play. Not as successful that time. That little kind of step through and he kicks to the right a little bit, and they shut it down that time.
Well, they like to run right in behind the power. They get in behind everybody, and then once they get up into the line of scrimmage, then they'll cut it back, because oftentimes what happens is once the surge and the flow goes in one direction, the linebackers flow that way and they overrun the play, and that's when the back cuts back against the grain.
Here's Blessman. Not much that time.
Well, it looks like he got a pretty good arm.
53 take younger.
First down.
It is a first down for the Comets.
Again, when you're playing against a team like this, you keep looking up at the clock. They're trying to stunt to create a turnover, and it's just a guessing game there. They're going inside, and the ball bounced outside.
Ball at the 17. Profiter has some room to run. Takes 3 or 4 Maroa Forsyth defenders to bring him down at the 10 after a pickup of 7.
What's an advantage down here at the state tournament is, you know, they have the play clock up on the scoreboard at both ends of the stadium, right, which is certainly helpful to a quarterback, but the way they control the clock, it's amazing that they even look at it.
Give to Blessman, almost lost his feet, but stays on him.
Another first down.
First down to the 6-yard line. Blessman, first team all-conference running back. First team all-conference linebacker. First team all-conference punter. First team all-conference kicker. Never leaves a field.
Okay, this is a different look here on this. You see they're going for the ball again, reaching. At first contact man was trying to rip the ball out, and when he didn't make that play, he got 2 or 3 more yards.
Whistle stops play.
They're trying to run some on-balance line, which is more power at the point of attack.
Dead ball. False start on the offense.
There's a little fire.
A little bit of fire there.
First to goal at the 11-yard line.
Well, it's nice to have 11 yards to go for a score when you know that you got 4 downs to get it when you're a 4-down team.
There's a look at Joe Blessman's numbers. We talked about his honors. There are his numbers today, 112 yards. He's met right at the line of scrimmage that time. Tim Younger with the stop. Tim Younger trying to fire up his Maroa Forsyth fans. They haven't had a lot to cheer about in this ball game. There you look at number 53. Had a beat on him all the way.
All the way. Came up, made the tackle. Leading tackler on Maroa Forsyth with 23 solos and 65 assists. A very aggressive two-way football player. Playing both ways, and he's in great condition.
2nd and 12 for the Comets. Hanlon the pitch to Wilson. He'll try and kick it outside. He does. And steps up behind a blocker and goes down about the 3-yard line.
That's the play that they ran. They just scored a touchdown on earlier, but also now that's the 3rd or 4th time they run it. They run it to the same side of the field. They run it to the same player, and what they're doing is they're trying to outrun the edge, because by the formation, the secondary squeezed in inside. They had a double tight, which means the corner basically was stacked or a yard outside, so it was easy to get on the edge, and with a quick pitch you're there already, and so they're taking advantage of it.
Wilson 120 yards, 2 touchdowns in the semifinal win over DMAC. This is Blessman, and it's a touchdown for the Comets. Blessman, his 2nd touchdown run of the day.
Nice job of play calling here, just really keeping them on their heels with the different types of calls they're making. No play action passes, but now coming back this way, stacking up the stunt, and that hole just created itself because the linebacker was going to stunt in the A gap, and they ran the ball into the B gap.
And Mike Poposi says he's not all brawn. 4.3 grade point average out of 4.0. How do you do that?
Well, you go to class and you study and take books on. You know.
Oh, okay.
I should know.
You've read about it, or?
No, I heard about it.
Okay.
I never claimed I did it.
And it's Toby Props limping off for the Trojans.
I have been a Torian. Now you know what a celetorian is.
Yeah, and
okay.
Valedictorian.
Correct. So I was a Torian.
You were a Torian.
A celetorian.
Oh, okay.
Oh, a little sprint with the quarterback. No go.
Hanlon brought down before he can get in for the 2-point conversion. 32-7. Newman putting it on Maroa at this point. The IHSA Football Championship brought to you by Country Financial.
A copy of every contest from this weekend's state final.
Sterling Newman Sr. Joe Blessman with the touchdown run, his 2nd touchdown run of the day. He's over 1,500 yards for the season, and that is the 5th rushing touchdown of the day for Sterling Newman. That ties a 2A state championship game record.
Well, and that's their bread and butter right there, the power. Just lead with the back, block down, kick out, and in you go. And they show great patience, and they actually just basically their versatility is just going from either side of the line of scrimmage. They'll go right one time, left, basically all the same plays, but just keeping those linebackers and the secondary on their heels.
There's a look at their scoring drive. Blessman, the 3-yard touchdown run, and Mike Poposi's team in control here, leading 32-7. Blessman's had some success kicking this ball into the end zone, and they won't get a chance to bring back another one. That's at least his third touchback of the game. There you get a look at him. He does everything we talked about it. All conference at running back, linebacker, kicker, and punter. 4.3 grade point average. He works at Menards.
When does he have time to do all the other stuff? But you know, the other part of that, I mean, it's great to have a kid that can do all of those things. But then the other bad part of that is if he goes down, you're in big trouble.
Yeah. That hasn't been a concern so far. 32-7, a long way to come back for Maroa Forsyth. And this is Scott with the run. He gets about 4 yards.
A little shovel pass underneath, which is basically a moving, sliding draw. Get everybody going one direction, flowing out. You see the linebackers, how they kind of flew out with the quarterback, and they shovel pass underneath, but backside made the play.
Scott's a first-team All-Stater in 2A, but they've done a pretty good job of holding him down today. Second and 5.
New formation at the top of the screen there. Got your stack.
Nothing doing there.
Well,
Tucker Brady with the tackle.
Sterling Newman, those down 3 linemen are staying home. They're well disciplined. They're in charge of playing the run, and that's all they're doing. They're not worrying about anything else. So Troy, the left tackle, 200-pound junior, and Carlos Salazar, 175-pound nose man, and Shea Bandit, the other tackle, they're doing their job. Watch them. They just stay home. Watch the nose man right there, how he reads, and then he slides off the block, and the other tackle closes down. Just a real good job right there of the defensive people staying at home. They seem to be at the point now where they're more concerned with the run than they are the pass. And I think that's how he thinks he's going to get back in the ball game, is to loosen them up with the run. But they're not being affected by either one of those systems.
Only 24 yards rushing for Gary Scott. He came in with 1,900 yards.
Well, he's a good football player. Again, it's one of those situations where one team is hot and you just can't get anything going.
You wonder how much that touchdown that was called back would change
dramatically
the complexion of this game.
Sure. First score right in the beginning of the ball game.
3rd and 4 for the Trojans. Stelzariti standing at his own 20-yard line. He's had an unbelievable season. And throws it almost directly into the hands of Tucker Brady, who is the underman in the coverage there. Hockaday was the intended receiver.
So those linebackers, they spent a lot of time on this. You can see, watch how he drops. They drop right out into the zone. Well, that's the running play before that. But they drop right into the zones. Those linebackers are really intimidating the quarterback because they are helping out those secondary people so much that they feel like there's no way they can throw underneath them. Another bad kick.
Yeah, into that wind. Hockaday looked like he was trying to kind of kick it rugby style and hasn't had much success doing that. Trying to keep it under the wind as much as possible. 17 yards on that kick. It's been a struggle going left to right for the punters today.
And that wind with that crosswind just swirling down there.
Under a minute to go here in the 3rd quarter of our 2A state championship game. 3A championship football coming your way next on the IHSA TV network.
See how long they keep pounding it. Oh, play action wide open.
Man deep. It's Zach Gassman and underthrew him.
He was open by 10 yards, and I think what happened, his eyeballs, from up here I could see his eyeballs got so big that his arm just shortened up. Now that's where you get your reaction from the play action. I mean, he is just absolutely wide open. There's 10 yards. Here he is, coming right into your living room. Look at the ball underthrown. I can guarantee you he's going to have a conversation. Gassman's going to have a conversation with Hanlon sometime down the road. Either it's a reunion 20 years from now or whatever, about the day he didn't throw that touchdown pass state championship game when he was open by 20 yards. They can call him a weenie arm or something.
Oh my. Jason Profiter with the run up the middle. And that will do it for the third quarter, 32-7. The Newman Comets with a commanding lead here after 3 quarters. 2010 IHSA Football Championships brought to you by Country Financial. And we are back in Champaign. Lee Hall, Jack McInerney. And it's been a pretty cold day for the old Trojan down there. Not much action for him. 7 points. That's all Maroa's been able to put up against this Newman defense. Doing an outstanding job here today. And some close calls for Maroa, but they haven't been able to hook up and get that passing game, that spread offense going here.
Well, now they're content to continue what they're doing. I mean, this is from start to finish. They don't change anything. They just keep pounding the ball.
Brian Barrs the carry that time. He had a touchdown earlier today.
It's nice to have the luxury when you're a running team to be running behind an offensive line that averages 222 pounds. And for a football program, that's quite a feat.
Look at our stats through 3 quarters, and dominant for Newman. 280 total yards, 5.3 yards per play. And excellent on 3rd down as well.
But that's the key to that offense, that average per play.
Right.
Because that average per play then leads to an awful lot of time being taken off of that clock. Because there's never any slowdown in the pace.
Westman the run to the inside. He's going to be back here on the University of Illinois campus as a student next year. To go into pre-med and attend the University of Illinois.
It's got to be exciting for him to have been on this field. And then matriculate here.
Matriculate, very good. Wilson outside. Cuts it back in. There's that cutback, and he's gone. 28 yards. Tim Wilson, his 3rd touchdown run of the game. And Newman adds, now they hold the state Class 2A record with 6 rushing touchdowns on the game.
Excellent job here by Wilson. Tall and lanky at 6'4", 195 pounds. Nice cutback against the grain. You show power, everybody flows so fast, and then he's got the quickness to cut back against the grain, pick up that touchdown, and now we're going for 2. Quick pitch.
Pitch to Profiter, and he's in for the 2-point conversion. Tim Wilson, the touchdown run. When asked about his line last week after the semifinal win over DMAC, he said, I wouldn't trade them for anybody. They're amazing, and they blew open a big hole for him here on this touchdown run, his 3rd of the game.
There's right now, he cuts right back. You notice how everybody was trying to spin back off their blocks. And what happens there is they're over pursuing the play, and he's got the ability to cut back against the grain.
Right, you talked about that earlier.
Nice job of camera work showing that, how they're trying to spin back off the blocks because they're over pursuing, and he's cut back against the grain. And that's, that's the way that, if you have a good athlete back there, that's the way they're supposed to do it. If he can't cut back, then he just lowers his shoulder and it becomes a 5-yard gain instead of a 25-yard gain.
5 plays, 41 yards, 119. Wilson, another touchdown run.
Now, if you looked at that stat, Lee, you would think that that was just the opposite. You'd think that was from the spread team. With that kind of productivity and looking at the time and the yards, that type of thing.
When you got a line like that, blowing open holes and getting the guy to the 2nd level and he's not touched, you're going to have that quick strike capability.
Well, and the key part of this, which isn't often shown in statistics, is the field position in which they've taken over the football.
This is Dustin Hoffman with it. Out across the 30 and driven out of bounds at the 36-yard line where the Trojans will take over. 16-yard kickoff return for Dustin Hoffman. 40-7. the Newman lead, and it's just a matter of time now for Mike Poposi's and Sterling Newman's 4th state championship.
I see a couple of good drives coming up here. I just got a feeling. They've been just right on the edge so often today.
Here's Hoffman, and he's driven down as he tried to turn the corner. Josh Shipman with the tackle.
That was a good tackle there, and Tucker Brady, number 17, coming up to help. Look at the flow to the ball right here. Number 17 right there, having by the ankles, Tucker Brady, 5'8", 160-pound senior. Good job.
A lot of weapons for this Maroa Forsyth team, and they just haven't been able to reverse, get them going here. Here's Beach. He had the touchdown catch earlier, and he's dropped for a loss. It's Blessman with the tackle.
There's just
Blessman's everywhere.
Those linebackers are so active. They have a 3 down lineman and 4 linebackers. Just watch how fast they flow to the ball. Right here, everybody's flowing. You can see him coming over the top, coming up. And right there, the key to that play is number 21, John Ortman, the outside guy. By him containing and not allowing him to get outside, forces that guy to cut back in to the hustling linebackers.
Logan Stelzeriti looking for Beach, has him, and it's complete at the 36-yard line.
Good throw, good route.
31-yard completion. Wesley Beach had the touchdown catch earlier, comes up with a big catch there. And Stelzeriti has thrown for over 4,000 yards the last 2 years. Big completion here.
Just a banana route where he ran inside on a post route and then just bent it outside. Good throw and good catch.
Little razzle dazzle here. The ball bounces right back up to Hockaday, and then it comes loose.
Wow, that was an active play.
Younger hops on it for Maroa Forsyth to avoid the turnover. Yeah, the ball was everywhere. Boy, it bounced, and it bounced right up to Hockaday, right back into his arms.
That's what'll happen with the turf. See the flow right now. They want the reverse. He pitches it, but he pitches it right into him, and that's a tough play because he's running full speed at that pitch, so there's more velocity on it. You know, it's not like a handoff reverse. It's a pitch into a reverse. And that's a very tough play to handle, especially on a cold day.
Trips receivers to the top of the screen. Stelzeriti one-hops that one. That was not a very good throw from Stelzeriti. Well, it's not unusual to see Josh Jostis try something kind of a razzle-dazzle type play. They went for an onside kick in the opening kickoff last week against Casey Westfield, so he's not afraid to pull a few tricks out of the bag.
Well, if that had been behind the line of scrimmage and bounced back to that guy where he picked it up and threw it out like Boise State, but that was not the intention.
Stelzeriti all kinds of time looking for Beach. Ooh, oh, and what a play. What a tip by Zach Gassman on the coverage to deny Beach the touchdown.
Now that ball was underthrown again, the win, because he had him beat. And he turned on his heels and just barely got to it. It's coming right into your living room right here. See him, he'll bend out right now. He's got him on his heels. He's beat right now. Ball's a little underthrown and allows him to get up and make the play. Great camera work right there. That's exactly what happened. The ball was a little underthrown.
4th and 13 for the Trojans. A little pass out in the flat. I don't think Scott was aware that it was going to come his way. He was running full out and hadn't turned yet, and that will be turned over on downs to Sterling Newman with a 40-7 lead here in our 2A state championship game. The IHSA Football Championships brought to you by Country Financial. Gorgeous football weather here in Champaign, 40-7. Newman with the lead, and look at those fans, and probably a little bit colder for the Maroa Forsyth fans down there today, Jack.
Interesting outfit. Like the glasses.
Am I on? Really?
Here we go again. This offense just pounding down your throat.
Tim Wilson bounces it outside and across the 50-yard line. I'm always reminded of the comedian Tim Wilson, who I hear on the radio quite often when I call Tim Wilson's name. Not sure if they're related or not. No funny business here, though.
No, not at all. A lot of still high tackling going for the football.
First and 10, 50-yard line.
I'm impressed with the caliber of play at the point of attack. Both lines in both the games we've done have been an outstanding job of offensive and defensive line play. Most people watch the ball and who's carrying the football, but the key to the game of football is the offensive defensive line play.
Aaron Ford and Gary Scott come up to make the stop that time for Maroa Forsyth. They had a big win earlier this year over Tuscola, who we just saw in the 1A state championship game, a win that snapped a 4-game win streak, 14-game win streak, I should say. Second and 11 for the Comets. Here's Wilson outside of him.
Bobbled that too.
Managed to hang on to it and get down to the 36-yard line.
When it's your day, it's your day. Two things happen in that play. Number one, they stunted into the opposite gap. Had they gone into the proper gap, they would have stuffed it for no gain, and the ball was bobbled. He picks it up and still makes a big game out of it.
Pick up a 15 for Tim Wilson, 171 yards on 19 carries, 3 touchdowns.
There he's bobbling the ball.
Wilson now comes out split as a wide receiver.
Oh, spread formation.
Shotgun. That's Blessman. You know, the formations change, but the main idea doesn't. The plot's the same.
Plot's the same, and the basic ingredients are the same, which is run behind that offensive line. They might be getting another turkey dinner tomorrow.
Think so?
I'd feed those guys as often as they want to be fed. Doing a great job.
Under 7 minutes to go now here in the 2A state championship game. The 3A state championship coming your way next here on the IHSA TV network. More Blessman and more yardage chewed up for the Blue Machine. And we did want to mention before we get out of here the Maroa Forsyth Trojans. We saw them run out of the field with a flag with the number of their teammate Nick England, a teammate who was killed tragically in an auto accident last July. The team rallied around the family and presented a jersey to the family in week 2, and they played all season with their teammate Nick England on their mind, and brought it all the way here to the state championship game. As Newman, just that hydraulic hammer that Corey Bielema talked about, it just keeps pounding and pounding till it breaks through, and they've broken through for 6 touchdowns today, all on the ground. That's a 2A championship game record. There's Profiter with a carry.
And they're just so consistent and so patient, and they just keep nickel diming you till they'll bust what they consider a big play of 10 or 12 yards.
Here's Wilson. Such a good job of getting out to that corner and then taking it back, and there's the scrum. Ever playing rugby?
No, not really. I've never been overseas.
Ah.
You've obviously,
no.
Was it school overseas? You had rugby here?
Oh, there's rugby here, well, of course.
Must be most recently.
That's a 13-yard line.
Got to get out of the big city once in a while.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of rugby around the Peoria area, I know.
Now polo.
Well, you have to have a horse for that.
Well, I don't want to be a name dropper.
Or you water polo. There's Blessman, and he's gone.
And he just kept bouncing outside till he got to the perimeter. Was designed to go off tackle, and they squeezed it down. He just bounced outside, made a nice run. Another score.
3rd touchdown of the day for Blessman, 21 on the season.
Well, what happens is the linebackers and the defensive backs get caught up, and they can't see that he's bouncing outside. You can see how that angle by the defender is from inside out. He went inside to make the play off tackle, and he bounced it out. Now he's chasing him. He loses the angle.
They will again go for 2 here. Up 46-7, whistle.
Trying to get the ball out to Shaquille Campbell, little 5'7", 150-pounder.
False start on the offense. Retry.
All start against the Comets. And this isn't Newman trying to run up the score or anything.
No.
This is just what they do.
Right.
Like I said earlier, Coach Poposi said to kick an extra point is kind of finesse. We want to play smash mouth to run it in. It's macho, I think, especially from the 7-yard line. Wilson waits for his block. Nice job. Boy, what a great run.
Same play in the other
Wilson.
direction that was just stopped with the whistle, and they run it to the right.
Lucas Neese, the all-stater, with the block, and Wilson did a really nice job of waiting on it here, Jack.
Watch the quick pitch right there. He gets right in behind the pulling tackle. You see number 61, Lucas Neese, all-state tackle, 6'4", 260 pounds. He's out there tiptoeing, looking for a defensive back to pancake.
Running clock here in Class 2A, 48-7. Newman the lead. The IHSA Football Championships in 2010, brought to you by Country Financial. 48-7. Sterling Newman with the lead. Mike Poposi looking on and just moments away from his 4th state championship in his 31 seasons as head coach of the Comets.
Well, he's certainly done a tremendous job with that program, and it's been on consistency as to what they do, and you've seen that here today. They've been extremely consistent.
Hoffman bobbles it, picks it up, takes it outside, gets outside the numbers, and is out of bounds near the 40-yard line at the 39-yard line. We talked about this. It's funny how things work out. I mean, they had beaten Amboy Lamoille by 44 points in week 8. They come out, it's a 14-7 game in round 1, could have gone either way. Then against Morrison, Sterling Newman falls behind 19-0. Came back and won 22-19.
And with that offense,
I mean, it could have gone either. You know, it could have gone another way for them, but they made it happen and managed to get here in spite of those tough outings.
There was a different look there.
Completion to Hockaday, and he was down before he fumbled it.
Quick look, a 3-step drop out of the eye, trying to get him isolated on that corner, and they're giving it to him now. First down. Now they're making a switch. Substituting on defense. Here's an opportunity for these kids to get in the ball game. A little confusion.
And the handoff is to Younger, number 53, also listed as number 35 on the roster. I'm not sure how that works, but the 376 yards rushing for Newman today is also a 2A state championship record, breaking the 374 by Decatur St. Teresa way back in 1975. Eddie Bain might have been coaching him back then. Went on to coach at Glorious Fall. There's Scott with it. He's made such a difference for this team. 1,900 yards after transferring from Decatur Eisenhower. Transferred at Christmas last year and played basketball, ran track, so he was just one of the guys by the time football camp started in August. And, really fit in and made this Maroa offense run this year. First and 10 for the Trojans. The pitch is to Scott. He gets it outside. Hockaday, a nice block. And down to about the 33-yard line for Scott.
He has some quickness that we haven't really been able to see because he's been bottled up so much now. But of course, you know, we've got a little different look secondary or the defensive front, but he's got some quickness. Good move right there.
Running clock. We approach the 2-minute mark here.
Trap up the middle.
Younger again. He's a 5'10", 181-pound junior.
Throw out some quick kudos to that offensive line for Sterling. Walls, Eckert, Banda, Bittner, and Neese have done a great job throughout the entire afternoon.
Here's the completion to Hockaday, and he's out of bounds, marked out of bounds at the 17-yard line. Well, I want to thank you, Jack McInerney. This has been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed your broadcast with Dave Bernhardt in the past. It's a pleasure to work with you today.
Well, thank you. I've enjoyed it myself. I grew up watching you, and I always wanted to work in the booth with you.
I'm sure your wife will go ahead and say that, yes, he hasn't grown up. That's the problem. And we'd like to thank all the athletic directors from all the the quarterfinalists. They all sent us, as Stelzariti has a little trouble with the exchange, all the athletic directors sent us rosters and DVDs. Didn't know if they were going to advance or not, but we appreciate them helping us prepare for their team's possible trip to Champaign. Thanks to Matt Troha from the Illinois High School Association. Thanks to my girlfriend for helping me with my charts. Thank you, honey.
Are you talking to me? I'm making me a little nervous here.
It's been a pleasure. I knew we'd have a lot of fun. I didn't know if we'd get to talk about any football, but I knew we'd have a lot of fun. The defense for Newman, record for rushing yards allowed. Record was 46 yards by St. Teresa's defense, and they've allowed 11 rushing yards.
That's amazing. That's truly amazing, especially in the state championship game with this caliber of athlete, this caliber of teams.
And the Newman fans are on their feet as time runs out. And it's a state championship for the Comets of Sterling Newman Central Catholic. The fourth for head coach Mike Poposi.
Well, they did it the way they wanted to do it. They just kept the ball, ran the clock. Great job of blocking at the point of attack. Good hard running. Excellent patience on the coaching play calling.
We talked about style of play a lot the first two games, and if you're a coach and you're thinking about, well, which kind of style do I want to run? I tell you what, the old school option smash mouth works pretty well. At least in these two games today, a pretty good case made for that style of football.
Well, you know, it really does depend on what kind of athletes you have. Some coaches will make various adjustments as to the type of athlete they get from year to year, and they might keep the same basic format, but in this case, you know, they have big linemen, obviously, and they have tough kids, and that's the type of offense that suits them, and they've done well with it for many, many years.
31 years for Mike Poposi, and you know, they haven't all been great. 6-3 his first year back in 1980. 2-7 the following year. There have been a few hiccups along the way. 5-4 in 2000, but for the most part, when you look down that career record for that gentleman right there, it's all on the plus side. We mentioned 410 career wins, now 411 for Mike Poposi at Sterling Newman, and the Maroa Forsyth kids all gathering around and having one last meeting there on the field here at the turf, and an outstanding season for them. 11-3 comes to an end here today.
Well, and being in this football game is the goal for everybody. You know, you can't win the state championship if you're not in the game, and so consequently there has to be a loser. And I don't like to use that term when it comes to playing in the championship game. Unfortunately, it's the person that came up short in the numbers. Obviously, either of these teams are losers in that sense. And that's one of the most difficult talks you'll ever have to make, is at a state championship game. When there's no tomorrow, there's no we can get better this week at practice and come back next week. That's the toughest talk there is right there.
There's a look at Tim Wilson, and boy, pretty impressive numbers today. 20 rushes, 177 yards, 32 his long run of the game, and 3 touchdowns for Tim Wilson. And Joe Blessman, 114 yards himself with 3 touchdowns.
And it's rare that you see a 6'4" running back at the high school level.
Yeah,
very rare. And he's done a nice job, real nice job.
Well, Mike Poposi said he was more of a slasher. We had to work on his blocking, but boy, he does a nice job. I really like how he gets through the hole and makes that cut back, and boy, that's his bread and butter, and it worked well for him today, obviously. Mike Poposi there in the center of that crowd. That's pretty amazing. 31 years coaching at the same school, and they all subscribe to the gospel of Coach Poposi. I guess Penn State has Joe Pa, and they've got my Pa, Mike Poposi, there at Sterling Newman. There he is.
Well, they both almost have the same amount of wins.
Yeah.
I don't think Joe Pa wears that kind of hat too often.
That's
the climate in which
fashionable
he plays
look
is very,
today, yeah.
very similar.
Fashionable look for Coach Poposi. All right, well, Jack, when you look back on this ball game, it's just, you know, that early penalty that cost Maroa Forsyth a touchdown, a bad snap on a punt, and those things kind of set the tone for the day, and there was no coming back from Maroa.
Well, it really does snowball, because when you're in a state championship game, you have two teams of this caliber. Those little miscues can lead to a big change in events, and it's happened in both games, and certainly did happen here early today.
I appreciate it, sir. Good luck in your games tomorrow night.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll be back with you tomorrow. We're back right after this. The IHSA Football Championships brought to you by Country Financial. And we are ready for our awards ceremony down on the field. You know, it's been a long time, but it hasn't been that long since we were that age, and you know, you remember back on those times, and not everything's going to go your way in life, and you just have to accept that and move on and enjoy it, and that's something these guys are going to look back on. I'm not sure when it'll happen. Like you said earlier, it may be next week, it may be next year, it may be 20 years from now, but when you look back on this, you know, that's quite a thing to take home with you, a second place trophy at state.
Well, in today's day of technology, they'll have this TV show to be showing their grandchildren.
Absolutely.
I mean, those are things that weren't there when you were playing, and they'll have this forever. And so these are the kind of memories that you cherish.
Absolutely, and nobody may be taking that away from them. The second place trophy, back-to-back state championship games for Maroa Forsyth. Back-to-back, not the trophies they wanted, but nonetheless, back-to-back trips to the state championship game is very impressive for Josh Jostis and his program. They do such a great job. There's such enthusiasm. We've been to a game at Maroa Forsyth before and scouting them in past years, and my goodness, they just got a great following. That's a great conference. A lot of fun teams there. We've got friends at Central A&M, Awequa, and Assumption that helped the St. Jude Memphis to Peoria run. A shout out to those folks down there. But some great football down there. Tuscola we saw in game one. That's a great conference, and we'll be seeing more of those teams. And maybe Maroa Forsyth again. They've got their quarterback Logan Stelzeriti back next year. And
I was very impressed with him. Very impressed with him.
Didn't have the connections today, but a guy that's thrown for 2,400 yards this past season, 4,000 yards, sophomore, junior year. What can you expect? I mean, senior year, I mean, the sky's the limit for him.
Well, you know what he can do. It's a matter of the supporting cast.
Right. I'll be looking for a few new guys to throw to. Joe Hockaday is a senior. Bo Banning is a senior. So all of the receivers actually seniors, and so is Scott. There you get a look at Mike Poposi.
My pleasure.
You could start a jewelry store.
This is number 4. Such a great job. Young men learning lessons in football that they'll carry with them for the rest of their lives.
Team trophy will be presented to the Comets.
That guy goes for all you guys. I mean, all you guys that coach and help young men and get them started in life.
There's a lot of things.
Only a few get to end their season like that.
Right, and it's just like your kids. Sometimes you got to do some things you really don't want to do, and it's hard sometimes sometimes to say no, or you can't do this, or you have to do it this way or that way. But that's part of life's experiences, and football is no different than, you know, a coach is no different than being your parent. You have to do the same things and treat them the same way. Use discipline and teaching and coaching, and those things are very important.
All right, our thanks again to you, my friend. Jack McInerney, I'm Lee Hall. Thanks to Aaron Bennett downstairs. They will, and Sophia Minert, they will stay with you. 3A championship football coming your way next on the IHSA TV network.
Welcome back to the 2010 IHSA State Football Championship. Sterling Newman Central Catholic, the 2A state champs. Mike Poposi, 31 years, 4 state championships now. It's a community and a town, a school that's been so special to you. How special is this 4th state championship for you?
Well, it's very special, and it's for the kids. These kids that worked so hard, overcame a lot, and you know, they believed in each other, and that shows today. You know, they were just dominant in every phase of the game, and I'm just so happy for them.
You guys had that target on your back all year long with the tradition and the record and the talent you had here. How'd you guys stay focused and keep the task at hand ahead of you?
The kids never talked about it. I certainly never talked about it. We didn't really care about the rankings. You know, the first day we were ranked, I told the kids, congratulations, you're ranked #1 in the state, but it doesn't matter now. It matters the day after Thanksgiving, and now I'm very happy about it.
Were you a little surprised with the way that you guys were able to take Maroa, Forsyth out of their game today? Obviously a very talented team on that sideline, and you guys did what you needed to do today.
Yeah, I was surprised, you know, but we kept the ball in our hands and we kept pounding them. I think we wore them out, and you know, they were dropping passes maybe they usually catch, but our kids were resilient, and you know, we've been in good shape all year, and I think that showed off today too.
Coach, thanks a lot. Congratulations. Mike Poposi, Sterling Newman Central Catholic, your 2A state champs. We are back with more after this.